Hi everyone, this screencast is going to show you how to add assignments on Aspen on your gradebook. So when you log into Aspen, the first thing you want to do is click the gradebook tab and then click one of your classes. Now, before you can add an assignment, there's this quirky thing in Aspen where you have to make something called a category. They really aren't going to do much for us because we're standards based. They're more for a 0 to 100 grading design. However, if you scroll down, you'll see that there is this option right here that says categories. And if you use the little arrow, it'll open up. You can see I've created one. I called it GW, representing graded work. You won't have anything here. But what you can do is just click add. Give it a code, like I did with GW. Give it a full name. And don't worry about a weight. And then you click the check mark, and then you're going to click the save button. I'm going to X out of this because I already have my category saved. And like I said, once you've created it, you'll see it come up, and then you want to click the save button. In order to add assignments, you have to have at least one category, but like I said, it doesn't make any impact on our work here being standards based. So just pick something random to put there. Now, to add an assignment, we are right here. And what you want to do is you want to come over here to assignments and click on that side tab. And up here, there's an options pull down menu. If you pull that down, you'll see add assignment is the first option. And this is where that category tab comes in. So if I click my little magnifying glass, you'll see that there's my category, and I okay that. My computer's running a little slow this morning. I know how it feels. I'm going to minimize this for right now. That category will come up here. And then column name. This is when you look at your grade book on Aspen, it wants a shortened little nickname. So maybe I'll do, oh, it just loaded in. Maybe I'll do test. And then under assignment name, this is where I can expand it out. And this is also what parents will see when you put when Aspen goes live. So I can select what date I assigned it, what date it was due. And for total points, yours might say 0. I just change it to 4 because we have a 4-point rubric. These are for if you are going to have students submit work through Aspen, which I am not doing because I use Google Classroom. Over here, you have some other options. Extra credit, this does not apply to us because we're standards-based. Aspen has that turned off. Sequence number, this is the position in your gradebook. This will show up. So if you want it bumped towards the front of your gradebook, you can change it to 1. If you want it towards the end, the default is the last space in your gradebook. We don't drop scores. Visibility type. This is for the Aspen parent portal. When we go live with parents, you have to make them public so that parents can see them. However, you have a second option where you can do public no grades, where you can post an assignment if you're in the process of correcting it. You can be entering your grades in Aspen, and all the parents will see is the title of the assignment and know that a grade is coming, but they won't actually see grades yet until you switch the assignments category to public. For now, we're all on private, so only you can see your grades, no parents. For entry mode, we don't need to worry about this because, like I said, Aspen has overridden it for standards-based. Grade scale, same thing. The only other thing we have to worry about is making sure this is correct, the grade term. If it's towards the end of a grading trimester and you want something to count towards trimester 2 so students have a chance to revise and redo, you can change this to T2. Aspen's going to give you a little, ooh, are you sure? Because we're currently in T1 warning, because all of the dates of the trimesters are driven into Aspen, and you can just click OK, and it will let you post it to trimester 2. If you have something like a weekly test that happens every single week, Aspen will actually allow you to enter it once, and then it'll repeat it every week for you. Down here, you can see that I have linked classes. The handiness of this is actually explained to you in another screencast. But if you only want this posted to this one class, you can unlink them. If you want it posted to all classes, you can relink them, or you can choose however many classes you want to link. Down here is where you can actually attach different resources. So even though the students aren't completing and submitting work through Aspen, you can still attach resources to it so that when parents log into the portal and students log into the portal, they can have access to those things here as well as Google Classroom. And then the last thing is there are these tabs up here. Portal description. When parents or students go into the portal, they can click on the description of an assignment and read what you've written here. So if there's anything that you need to include, like revisions are due on this date, just a reminder, make sure I was looking for blah, blah, blah. Any kind of a description that you want to include, or you don't have to include anything at all. And if you make any changes, just make sure you save. And then over here to standards, this is where you can attach your standards. And this is how it's going to make your gradebook so much easier. So right here, you can see I have no matching standards. So if I come over here to this button, this multi-add button, it opens up this. Now my window might look different than yours because I only have access to the science standards. So if this is a process grade, I can choose ownership of learning, work completion, work habits, but this is a product grade. So if I just use this little plus to expand this down, I can say, this is definitely a earth and space science grade, it's going to be an engineering practices grade, and it's going to be a communication grade. It's hitting all three. And then I can click OK. And it'll take a minute to think. And once it's done thinking, you'll see that all those strands are going to pop up right here. And I do need to wait for that, unfortunately, because I have to save. Okay, so now all of my strands are up. And again, I want it added to all of the assignments that are linked to this class. So this is an update to everything. And now down here, I want to click the Save button. If I have another assignment to add right away, I can click the Save and New, and it'll save this and open up a new one at the same time. I'm not doing that right now, though. So I click Save. Let me just check those just to make sure. Okay. And now, these are called breadcrumbs. They take you one step back at a time. So if I come back to my class list, to my assignments, you can see that Astronomy Test Part 2 has come up. And if I go into my scores, I don't know if I can do that because I have student scores on this, sorry. But if I come up into my score sheet, I would see Astronomy Test Part 2 came up. If I need to edit, I can just click on the title and come in and I can edit it in any way that I see fit. So for instance, if I decide that I do want it at the start of my gradebook, I can change this to 1 and then save. And then if I go back to my assignments, it's thinking right now, but it would show up on my score sheet. It would show up as the first assignment that was there. I hope this is helpful.